Hello, welcome to the Hidden Sun podcast. My name is Jodie. Thank you so much for being here. I'm here today with Nicole, who I have been in service to through my photography work, and I've known Nicole since the middle of last year. Nicole asked me to help bring her vision to life for her first line of bamboo yoga wear. And now we are one day away from Nicole launching said yoga wear, and we're in her living room here. So thank you, Nicole, so much for inviting me into your space. I was so keen to speak to you after seeing what you're creating and bringing into being, and it's been a joy to witness and to be in service to you. Yeah, thank you so much. And
Very welcome.
I really wanted to hear from you in your own words. I would love for you to speak to the journey, the creative journey, but also your life journey that's brought you to this point now. And yeah.
Well, thank you for inviting me on. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, but this whole experience of launching my own brand is a new thing, so it makes sense that every day is something brand new, and that's just part of the fun. So yes, this is my first solo venture of bringing products into the world, but I do have 10 years-ish behind me of working in fashion buying. So that's where it started, really, with just doing textiles at A-level, and my teacher saying, do you know what buying is? Have you ever thought about it? And I thought, never heard of it in my life. I just thought things, arrived on the shelves and out of magic. I never put a second guess to it. So yeah, I went to uni, I did fashion buying and merchandising, and the rest was history, really. I just ended up working in mainstream corporate fashion companies over the last it was about 9 years in the end. And it was a bit of a journey, to be honest, lots of ups and downs and long days, but I've learned so much. And there were so many times during that period where I would have this niggling feeling where it was almost like, could I ever start my own thing? But I always sort of thought, how on earth would I even begin? How does one do that? And am I even the right kind of person to do this? Because these sort of examples of, leadership and directors that I'd had over the years were just very sort of corporate and not really like me at all, at the very sort of heart of who I am. So I wasn't really sure if it would ever happen, but it did keep sort of creeping back in. And at the same time, over the years, I've sort of started to drift from the idea of working in those companies and producing all these millions of garments, which weren't necessarily my vision. I was obviously working in service of whatever company I was working for, and I loved the creative process of all of those times of my life, and met lots of friends and obviously learnt a lot, but it was starting to feel a little bit less like me. And yes, at the same time, I was loving yoga and doing yoga maybe 3 or 4 times a week, just as a student. And I guess lots of things sort of happened in quite a short succession of time. So 2 years ago, I went to Australia for just a holiday, and I ended up buying some bamboo yoga wear at a market stall, and it just felt so soft. And it's the first bamboo I'd ever owned, and it was so soft and so lovely, and it just felt amazing on. But I couldn't really actually wear it for yoga because it was pretty see-through and also fell down every time I took a step in it. It didn't have any elastic around the waist. So as nice as it felt, and I loved the fabric, it wasn't totally suitable for purpose. So it just became my wear around the house kind of clothes. And it was only 5 months after that I was cycling to work one day, and I just thought, I'm going to have a look into yoga teaching. And I found that same day I found a yoga teacher training that felt right for me, and it started in, I think, 30 or 31 days time, and I was on a 4-week notice, and I literally just decided that same day to hand my notice in, enroll in this yoga teacher training. And it was in a Kundalini yoga class, actually, that same Wednesday evening, where I usually get a lot of my creative ideas. I would usually get all sorts of, you know, bits come to me about, oh, I should do this, I should do that. And I just had this idea that I needed to do this bamboo yoga wear at the same time. So I put that into work immediately, and yeah, the rest sort of just unraveled from there. But it's quite crazy that all that sort of just happened in one day. Obviously with 10 years of different things sort of, you know, falling into place with, you know, me actually knowing how to develop a product and do all the processes that come to making a product come to life, and have some amazing contacts that have helped me through this whole thing. So yeah, that's kind of where it's come from. And on quite a personal and emotional level as well. I had inherited some money back in that same December when I was in Australia. And I was very, very sort of protective of that money. I got it through, you know, the biggest challenge of my life led me to inheriting that money. It was linked to my auntie, who unfortunately passed away a number of years ago in a terrorist attack. So it was probably the most traumatic thing my family have ever been through, going through that kind of thing. And I didn't really know what to do with that money that I'd inherited. I wanted it to go to something more in my life. So I just decided I should live my life in the way that she'd want me to, and, you know, follow my dream. And become my own boss and give myself the freedom that I kind of wanted to have. And I think going down the journey of yoga and starting my own company has sort of given me freedom in lots of ways, and sort of cracked my own existence open in more ways than one. So, because I know that obviously not everybody can just quit their job and start their own brand. So I wanted to put that out there as transparency, that, you know, sometimes the worst things that happen in your life can become a real blessing years later. And you just don't know how yet. But yeah, I always find it annoying when people say they can do this magic thing, and you think, how on earth are you affording to do that? Because that's not everybody's, you know, you can't just necessarily jump up and do that randomly. So yeah, that's a very long explanation.
It's not that long.
How I got to this point. But yeah, that was sort of a year and a half ago now that I quit the job and developed my yoga wear. And it's taken a full year and a half really to get to this point of it literally being on its way today.
We're looking out for the van.
So we're looking for a delivery van, because it's we're in the delivery window right now, which feels quite surreal after waiting all this time for it to be finally ready. So yeah. It's so exciting.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's a really beautiful celebration, you know, and I feel like it's a really exquisite thing to you know, to choose the kind of direction of those funds for you, because it's you know, it's generative, and what better thing to do than create? What else is that, you know? Like, I feel like that's the most beautiful thing you can do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I felt like for a long time, I think when I was thinking about what on earth I could even do if I was to ever start my own company, I'd kind of moved away from the idea of trends, although like I see fashion as being a complete celebration, and I loved working in it for many reasons over the years, but moving away from that idea of, you know, this constant churning and changing of trends, and what are they doing, what are we doing, like what's next, and every year it's something new, even every month it's something brand new, and it's just this treadmill constantly. I wanted to do something that was pieces that people are going to love and wear, you know, for years. And the idea of bamboo is just a magical fabric for so many reasons, but it's not the most accessible as well. So I wanted to be able to make it more accessible to people. So I would not be doing this if I, didn't see a specific purpose in it as well, because, then that money that I've invested into it is really sacred to me. Like, it's not just,
Yeah.
it's not a flippant decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an important choice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, sacred is the word, isn't it? And I feel like it can be that because, we have so many layers in that respect that, we all have a completely individual relationship to money, don't we? And we also, it can be very like loaded, and there's so much I could say about that, which is a whole other podcast, isn't it?
And how we different ways that upbringing affects how we view spending money on doing all these things, and how much you feel you can move with it, and you can let it flow, I think. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a really, it's a real, I guess it's like a challenge and also a gift to be able to work with that, to generate, in a generative way, to be able to pour your soul into this vision, and to see it bear fruit. I guess the kind of, in some ways, once you've made the product real, it's come from your imagination and then it becomes a thing and it's out in the world, that's like a completion of the creative process in a way, but then it also is how it moves in the world. It's always continuing, isn't it? So that, what you've invested in that is you continue. This is just the beginning, I think, is
it's almost like it shape shifts. It goes from being that one tangible thing to another tangible thing, and nothing is lost. It's just changing form. And I think that's how I've had to sort of view this whole process, not just the money side but everything. Everything's just changing form into something new, but nothing technically is gone, or it's just ever moving. But life, isn't it? It's something I don't actually know I also did A-level textiles, and I remember learning, and also actually in retail, I always had a part-time job in retail alongside my university degree, and I learned a little bit from the head office would send the PDFs around, and we'd all have to sit there on a Saturday and learn about the fabrics, which I actually loved. Has always been of interest to me, but I don't remember that much about the production of bamboo in the places where I worked, and also before that, when I did textiles up until university level, I never knew a huge amount about it, and I would love to know how you've worked with that. I know you said it's it was the choice, you had that experience of I love the way that this feels, and I'd love to know more, if you're willing to tell. I can. Well, I'm not the actual expert on how they produce it exactly, but bamboo is obviously a plant that grows very rapidly, so it grows up to 1 meter a day, which is one of the reasons why it's so brilliant to work with, because it grows really fast. It regenerates at its own root, so once you've chopped it so you can use it, it will just grow back again, and it doesn't require pesticides or much irrigation. It doesn't require fertilizers. It just grows, and so unlike cotton and things like that, and obviously it's better than, we won't go down any of the synthetic routes or anything that but it's got so many benefits. But the way that they make it is a lot like a viscose.
Okay, I do know about viscose.
It gets sort of mulched down and then made into fabric, which is pretty mental, mind-blowing. But in the way that you'll get it gets mulched down and made into paper, and all sorts of other things. It can get mulched down and made into strands of fabric, and it's got so many amazing properties, such as, it's cooling, it's also thermoregulating. It can warm you up when you're cold. It can cool you down when you're hot. It's antibacterial. It's got antibacterial properties. So it doesn't need to be washed as much. It's super breathable, super soft. It's really strong. I mean, I just love it. There's just so many things that I love about it. It just feels so good to wear. But the main thing really is about how regenerative it is as a actual fabric to be working with. You know, it's probably one of the best that we could use as a society. So I knew I wanted to go down that route, and I was just sort of fed up of having options around me of like big brands just selling like nylon and polyester and things like that, which just don't feel good to me personally to practice in, especially now that if I ever go back to them, I've literally worn my yoga wear samples for the last year and a half. So if they've been in the wash and I've had to like go back to one of my old nylon pairs, it just doesn't feel the same. I physically feel like suffocated in it with my skin.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, you know, really draw on wearing something that was natural and breathable. And that's the main reason really why I decided to do it. Because you can get some bamboo yoga wear out there. It tends to be quite expensive. It is a more expensive fabric. Yeah. To be honest, that's why it is more expensive. But I wanted to be able to offer it with sort of like my low overheads and everything at the most accessible price so that more people can actually wear it. Yeah. And it doesn't need to be this sort of thing that, you know, I mean, my stuff is half the price of some of the big brands out there actually.
We shall not mention, but we know who they are.
No, I don't know if I won't mention any names. But, yeah. I wanted to make it accessible. Yeah, and I've worked from entry price points, probably the most well-known entry price point retailer out there on the high street, and also higher end brands as well. I've worked in luxury fashion, and I've seen these margins range from 27% to like 90 odd percent, and sometimes the same suppliers. Sometimes, you know, even the processes can be very similar across a lot of these retailers. Yeah. And really it all just comes down to, you know, your morals as a brand really, as to what you can put out there for what price. There's obviously a certain limit on how expensive your fabric is and things like that, but so much of the markup we see out there is literally just branding. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to blend together an amazing product, or a product that I find amazing, and a really premium fabric, but then still being at a price point that is more affordable, because I can play with my margins more than other brands out there. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've gone off on a tangent there.
No, I think it's perfect.
Part of the reason why I wanted to do this is to bring that to, you know, to the world, rather than it just being, you know, this big brands dominating and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough, you know, there's enough noise from big brands, right? And it can, I feel like when you're one person bringing something into the world, it can be really easy to not do the thing because you think, what difference can I really make?
Yeah.
You know, how far can this go?
Yeah.
And it can feel like, especially if it's like a thing, a product, you know, you think, well, there's enough of everything in the world. Like how...
Yeah. How can mine be a positive addition? Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, you know, you have to really have conviction and also enough self-belief to not know the answers. I mean, you could say this of anything in life, I feel, but to have a vision and bring it through when it relates to like another physical thing in the world, and you go, what difference can I make? You have to really feel it in your heart.
Exactly.
In order to even begin, but then to see the creative process through however many times you will in your life, because you know, it's no easy thing and it's no small thing, however small it feels to be just beginning. Yeah, you know, when you asked me to take photos with you, like that was a real gift to me, because in establishing my photography work, that's exactly who and what I wanted to be in service to, because I know how challenging it is. From having a jewellery business, and I know what, you know, as one person, what you're up against in a big world full of lots of stuff.
Yeah, I'm so blessed that I found you, because I couldn't have wished for a kinder, more warm, like, you just put me at so much ease that day. And I really feel like I'm not a number. Do you know, when I worked with you, this is,
well, you're not a number.
You really see this, like, you see the vision and the beauty in what I'm trying to do, and you see the art in it, even though, you know, they're quite simple products. They're simple by design, they're simple by nature. But you saw the vision through that, and I think that's what's so lovely about your work and how you work with everybody. And I see all your work comes through like that, and the way that you show your own work as well, it's just so apparent. And I feel like you just did it so much justice, because that's one of the hardest things as well, is like, we can have these beautiful products and you make beautiful pieces. I'm looking at your earrings now, and your rings and everything is so lovely, and I'm so proud of the product that I've developed as well. But it's like, how do I make this now show up in the world and do it justice? And your images did that for me, and I couldn't have done that without you, obviously. And I think also as well, like, your eye for it is, when I see my husband Matt was on the shoot with us helping out with,
he did a beautiful job.
He did a beautiful job. He even came back to the flat when I forgot one of the cycling shorts. So he was a hero, but he was there and he was taking a few like little clips here and there, and I looked at his footage afterwards, and I mean, it was a very windy day, wasn't it? It was very windy. So yeah, it was a challenge at times, but I could see, like, from his shots how sort of out of my comfort zone I was when I was modelling all the stuff. But when your imagery came through, I just thought, like, wow, these look like how I want them to look. How has this happened? Because I saw how, like, uncomfortable I was on these sort of behind the scenes videos, and then all of a sudden the images have come through and they're just brilliant. And I just thought, like, wow, I mean, it's just priceless, that, for me. But yeah.
Oh my god, thank you. I mean, it's really beautiful. Thank you so much for mirroring that back. And that, I feel like that's all, you know, all I really do and can do is to, you know, to mirror that back to you too, like your gifts, because you know you, and you know when you feel uncomfortable. But it's like sometimes we require a mirror that sees the whole thing, not just the part that we very humbly kind of feel in our system, with all of our doubts and all of our humanness. And, you know, it's perfect as is, but I feel like when you're in a creative process, like, that is so vital to have incremental points along the way, where people hold that vision with you, so that you can, it's kind of like momentum, isn't it? And also it's so many things that I could try and put language to, but it's like it I kind of feel like I feel like it's essential. I'm not saying we always have that all the way through, but like there's times when we need like holding in the vision so that we can kind of hone it. And carry on down that path. I mean, once I got your imagery, I felt then like I could really go full steam into my website, into starting to do marketing, and all that has been very alien. But having that sort of, you know, these beautiful shots behind the product, just making it feel so real. And well, it is real. I think it's going to be real in a few hours when it arrives, for sure. But it's been a really fun and interesting journey. It's so beautiful. I'm very grateful for all of it, and for definitely finding you to help me with you know, showing the products. Oh, likewise. I get so excited when I see you know, like I see women in the process of realizing something into like tangible form. I just always want to be in service to that, because that's also I feel like it's it's how we come to see ourselves more clearly, is also in reciprocity, and we get to kind of shine in our light and have that reflected back, to me is priceless. So I always jump at the chance. Like when I got your email, I was like, oh yes, I really like, yeah. It felt really, I mean, even when I think every time I've met you, you have been, like, you're not lying when you say you've always been in your products.
Every time, every day.
And I love that so much.
I think everyone's sick of seeing me in it now. And it's actually quite, it's become a bit of a joke because because most of what I do is I'm either practicing yoga or I'm teaching it, or I'm coming up with a sequence or something like that, or I'm relaxing. And then when I'm relaxing, I'm wearing it too. But when I don't go out too much these days, but when I do now have like a, you know, a lunch or a dinner planned with friends or whatever, family coming to stay and we're going out for dinner, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, what do I wear now? Like, you know, and bearing in mind I used to work in fashion and have this expansive wardrobe, and, you know, every day was, oh, what should I wear? How do I make this look curated? And it was quite, you know, quite a thing for quite a few of my years in that old career. But now I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I tend to actually wear my yoga wear even if I'm going out for dinner. I just dress it up. I'm like, I'll wear my jumpsuit and I'll put a jumper over it and I'll wear some nice earrings, and, you know, it just it's literally become, I don't really know why I'd want to wear anything else now, because I'm just used to being in comfy, stretchy things. But yeah, it's funny.
I also feel like that's also the magic of something that when you create something yourself, like, and also it's to hand. It's like, well, it's here. And I feel like it's also a beautiful celebration to be in that, and to, you know, it brings me so much joy to wear things that I've created. It's never stopped.
And you're making yours by hand as well. I can't actually say I've made these by hand. My wonderful supplier has, but it feels like it's certainly a joint effort. But yeah, I feel very like connected to them. Which is nice. And also I get to wear a trowel the whole time.
Which I also feel is like vital, especially with a clothing item that has a purpose which is related to like practicality or functionality as well as feel, and kind of, you know, how you feel wearing the thing is layered, isn't it? Because there's the like practical feeling of the thing, like, does it support me when I'm
how
moving?
Does this bit feel? I mean, that was a big part of it. That's partly in a way why it took me so long to develop the stuff, because I came through chops and changes of being like, actually, you know what? I think these leggings need to be thicker. I think this is, you know, I can see my pants a little bit through here. And then it took me 9 months to find a slightly thicker version. And then I had this thing where it's like, you know what? I can't find the right elastic that feels comfortable around my waist. So I'm going to have to redesign this, take the waistband out. And it's all those little tweaks and changes that came to me just by wearing the product so much. In day-to-day life, but also actually doing yoga in it so much as well. And trying to breathe in it, and realising where there were limitations and things, and actually not being afraid to go back to the drawing board a few times and start from scratch, making things just slightly better. And I think that's why I'm more confident overall in the end product, because I've honed it for so long.
And you've lived it as well, because you're living in those pieces. Which is exquisite. And I feel like you know, those are all the things that people won't see. So I feel like it is really good to put your voice to that and let people know. Because I mean, it's an unending process in that sense. And you've already gone through so many spirals of that process to even bring one thing out, and then it may well change over time. But I also feel like it's perfect, the journey that you've been on, in the sense of having the like industry knowledge that you have gained, to then be able to do this in the time that you've needed to do it, to create slowly. I mean, well, it does feel like it's been created slowly. But that's mainly due to all of these little development, you know, twists and turns. But
yeah, I'm very grateful for all that industry knowledge. It feels like all the pieces of the puzzle kind of go into place eventually, don't they? When you look back on your life and what leads you to that moment of being where you are at that moment. But I guess all of those experiences are why I've been able to do this. And to be honest, like, the product development side is the bit that I have found the most easy, and I do find it so enjoyable. Just sort of being out with the measuring tape and having a little garment trying on session, and tweaking things and deciding what colour I want to do and where we should put the labels and all that stuff. And that's all the bits that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
So it has been a real pleasure, especially to do that sort of on my own as well, because normally in the industry you're working with quite a big team of people, and you have different levels of every sort of role, and you have to make sure everybody's on the same page all the time, or that team effort is so lovely sometimes. But it's been really nice sort of for my development as a person to just sort of go with my intuition and my decisiveness, and not actually have to go and seek outside approval from anyone, and just doing what actually feels right for me, for what I think the product needs, from wearing it and practicing in it and developing it. So it has been a really nice sort of process, actually. It feels quite crazy looking back on the year, to think all of the little steps that have happened and putting on different hats. One day I'm being a garment tech, and the next day I'm being packaging designer and label designer, and then the next day it's right, we're on website design mode now, and it's quite a big journey to undertake on your own, but it has been fun.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to how it just keeps developing, even though I'm quite apprehensive at the same time, what comes next.
Yeah.
Customer service assistant, warehouse assistant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever else. And at the same time, sort of developing the next sort of range of things, which I want to go down more of a gender neutral / menswear route as well. There's just this ever evolving, this whole process. It's like almost like what I've done up to this point has been the most comfortable part of it for me. Yeah. Because it's the bits I've actually had experience in. And now it's going down that route of, okay, it's a bit unknown now, but just going with the flow and trusting that the product will, speak for itself and guide me through. It'll be worth it.
That's so beautiful to be guided by the thing that you're creating. I feel like that's the energy of life, right? If you let it be that way, is to be guided by the thing that is in you that you've created, but that then is also on that journey with you and showing you what you need to know next.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just literally trusting the process, because there's been a lot of times as well, and you might relate to this as well from starting your own thing, where it just feels like sometimes like there's a very long way to go when you're at the beginning, and that sort of whole thing of the fear of the unknown, and also trying to grasp so hard at what you want it to be and get it in that direction, but things can just take so long sometimes, it can feel like, and just knowing to try and relax and enjoy the process, I think has been a big learning curve. And especially sort of coming out of the steadiness of a full-time job, just creating, and slowly teaching yoga has been a whole thing in itself, like going from that security to complete, the opposite of it, let's say. Has been a massive learning curve for me. I've, met lots of different challenges along the way, but it's been such a transformative time, this whole process, really going down that route.
It's transformation. It is transformation, isn't it?
I don't know if I mentioned this to you actually, but it was interesting that I had an astrology session in summer, and I hadn't told the astrologer anything about me really, and they said, what happened to you? about a year and a half ago, because your sun sign moved out of Taurus into Gemini. So that would be like a big, massive, like catastrophic, event must have happened in your life. And I was like, oh, that makes sense actually. I quit my job and I went down a completely different path. And she was just like, well, okay, that makes perfect sense, because Taurus is all about like the steadiness and security and like, wanting everything to be quite stubborn and just like, this is how it is, not really liking change. And then Gemini is very free flowing, can be airy fairy in the best way, and just all about sort of new experiences and learning new things and new knowledge. And it makes sense that I kind of went through that process at the exact time that sort of happened in my astrology, if anyone's into that. It just kind of made sense to me. It was like, oh, that's maybe why the universe made me do this, because it didn't want me to be in my Taurus era anymore. It wanted me to go down this sort of wild, like ever-changing Gemini route for the next how many years. And I'm definitely feeling that. Yeah, it's interesting when the pieces again of the puzzle are just sort of falling into place of like, oh wow, okay, this is, there's a lot more to this, I guess.
Yeah, there's always more, isn't there? And it's really, I always feel like, I say God, but you could say source or,
anything.
The universe, whatever it is to you, if that's what you see. But like, I kind of feel like God has a sense of humour in that way, because it's kind of like you can just be kind of doing your thing, and then, you have like a kind of reading like that, where it's like, oh yeah, of course that makes sense. It's like that is happening whether you're consciously relating to it in that way or not.
Yeah, there's like so many forces, I think, that we just can't see or necessarily understand. It's just all these things just sort of pulling us in and out of our different experiences. It's quite mind-blowing really, but it just makes sense. I feel like it's kind of perfectly mind-blowing, because it's not it takes us beyond our mind, because it's like you can't really comprehend. I know people try, but I kind of feel like my mind can take a back seat with that kind of thing, because it's like that's where you're that's when we're really in service to our spirit and our soul. Is when our mind has been blown. And it's like, right, okay, there's just so much more. And it doesn't always feel comfortable or obvious, or like it doesn't have to make sense at times.
I feel like that's when it doesn't make sense. I can't speak for anyone else. When it doesn't make kind of sense, and when I can't figure it out, I feel like that, although it is crunchy for our like mind,
ego mind,
it's which is sometimes you need to figure out the practicalities of, say, like your labels, or like we need our mind to be in service, but when it's in service to our, like, what we're bringing through on our soul journey, then
it's just intuition.
We can become instinctual and let that kind of lead, because when it doesn't make logical sense, or when there's like a thing that's like,
but you feel so powerfully for that, then you kind of think, well, if it doesn't make sense but I really want it, and it just feels right, then you kind of think, surely it must be.
When that's when we use our actual, like when we say, it doesn't make sense, usually we mean like logic, don't we? But actually it's like when we're in our senses through our sensibilities, and I feel like in
how it feels,
and that's where
and it makes sense.
We feel our intuition. Exactly. It's like
spin it on its head.
When we're in our senses, and when you're in your body enough to be able to feel the thing anyway, even if it makes like no sense, the hows, or the like, how on earth do I possibly do this? Like when you feel like you're right at the bottom of the mountain, it's that's like a kind of, I really feel like that's a gateway to the magic, because you have to let something else
take control.
You
have to give out the the day-to-day control of situations and just go with it. That's definitely what I think happened last April when I had the crazy feeling to just quit my job and turn everything on its head.
Yeah, I mean, life will do that, won't it?
It does it sometimes.
Yeah,
but it's fun because otherwise, it gets, every day sort of becomes the same. And that's how it sort of had become for me, working in that way and living that life. So yeah, I think it's important to be brave and just follow those moments of crazy intuition and just be like, you do only, well, I don't think you do live once, but in this particular incarnation of my life right here, right now, as this, this being, I'm probably going to experience this particular thing once.
Yeah.
And just, enjoying it, letting it just unfold.
Yeah.
And not trying to control it, but it does sort of get, I think a lot of the time, life sort of, you feel like you have to go down that certain path of being like, right, career step by step, and where am I going to be at this age, and what am I going to have by this time, and I think stepping outside of that sort of predestined like box that we can put ourselves in. You go to university, you learn how to do something, and you go into that job, and you literally could do that job to the day you die, even if you don't enjoy it.
Yeah. Because
you think, right, this is my path now. But when you're spending so many hours of your life doing something, I think it's worth taking a step back sometimes and being like, it's worth the risk to just change course, just to give yourself something new to experience.
Yeah absolutely. I mean, I feel like we we all have, to say we all have a unique journey is like the most vast understatement, because it's like, however any of us come here and feel our aliveness and have our human experiences, like, so as much as there are things which are kind of, we have like experiences which unify us, and that we have a common ground, like we can all feel joy, we all feel grief, like it's also so deeply unique, and I don't believe that we're all meant to be, if everybody was always at the same time in deep realization of their gifts, like nothing would be built, nothing, everyone would just stop in awe. So it's like we have to really trust when that's right for us, and that means that I feel like we have to really be able to, it's kind of like casting your vision out bigger than you can see or know, but then also at the same time honing it close enough so that you don't look at what other people are doing enough that you doubt whether you can do the thing. Like there has to be a certain kind of direction and enough kind of momentum of your spirit to go, I have no clue, but let's try it. And also seeing far enough that you can imagine that it's possible, maybe a bit, even if it's 1%, because it is always changing.
Staying with that magic, I think that's
staying with the magic.
I have a lot of days where I feel like that, and then I do have days where I'm like, the major self-doubt comes in. You go, what am I doing? But it's, I think, sort of seeing how you operate in the world has actually been quite inspiring for me, because even just seeing when you share and you just share yourself so authentically of this is what I've got to say, and I'm going to say it, and you just share it in your own way, and I think that's so beautiful. We should all feel free to do that. But I personally have times somewhere where I don't know whether it's like fear of judgment or fear of putting myself out there full stop, really, where it's like, I don't know, I don't necessarily always see the world as the safest place to do that, even though it is. The only thing that makes me think it's not is my own brain. There's nothing really actually dangerous about putting yourself out there and sharing what you love and sharing yourself and your personality. But yeah, it's coming back to what you said about trying to see the vision, see the bigger picture, and just trusting that little small part of you that knows it's possible.
That
kind of thing.
The tiny, I feel like it can feel like such a tiny grain of, and it is, I think, in universal terms.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
universe.
yeah, like, you know, that it's like can feel so tiny, but it's the fact that it exists at all is so powerful. And then, you know, we can layer on everything you've just described, which I also feel too. It's been no small thing for me in any way, shape or form to offer, I guess, something that's like of my heart out into the world. And it can feel like all the things you said, and I, you know, it's not always felt easy for me, but it's always been true when I've done it. So it's kind of, you know, and I'm still in a dance with that, as I think we all are in our own ways, because we all have our conditioning.
Yeah.
And mine has definitely been around kind of using my voice and knowing that people want to hear what I have to say or share, which I feel is there for all of us. I've definitely had a lot of conditioning around that. So it's really, you know, but then that also is a huge teaching for me, and it's a real gift to feel like, I don't know how it feels for anyone else, but, you know, like to really feel, it's kind of like I feel like it's like in my solar plexus, like the burn in my solar plexus of like really expressing something. It could be creatively, it could be with my voice, that's like really there for me and really alive.
Yeah.
And to say it or to express it or to create it with nothing to prove, but with like a real deep reverence for the thing, in a world where, you know, there will be people that recognize that in themselves and then will gravitate towards that. But, you know, largely the world is not, I don't think.
We see so much of of people portraying, we talked about this a bit before we put the mics on, about how things can just be so created, and we see images of and you know, sounds of perfection out there, where people just seem to have it all so perfect and together, and we think we need to be like that, but it's not actually reality for a lot of people. No,
absolutely not.
I think seeing that vulnerable side of people, and for me personally, being a person who is quite shy in nature, and I see your shyness, but I see myself in it, and then I see you going out and being brave with your voice and doing things like this and putting yourself out there, and it makes me, and I'm sure other people out there, feel like they can do that too, feel like they can share themselves. So it's like, as much as it's going to be massively helpful to you and you're in service to yourself, you're also in service to all the other people out there that can relate in some way as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I really feel that with all my heart. It's like, however we bring our gifts forward and however we can be us in the world without any other layers, you know, in vulnerability is like really, I feel it's really essential to our nature and how we move. You know, the world looks pretty wild and is pretty wild right now. And I feel like, you know, how do we be in service to something bigger without having any idea about whether it's wanted or required, or you know, as in what's within us. Like, is it, we just have to, I mean, I don't even have the end of that sentence, because I feel like you just have to kind of blindly trust that it's just needed. And move from that
and also
place.
Kind of, I mean, when you were just saying that, then my mind just went a little bit to yoga philosophy, and about how there's these teachings of having no attachment and expectations to these different things. And I think, you know, that's part, and surrender, and that's partly something that I think is, you know, easier said than done. You know, I might have attachment to my products if I want them to perform, I want people to like them, but really true sort of bliss, and you could say enlightenment, is just realizing that none of it really matters deep down to who we are as a soul. You know, whether or not we're liked, or whether or not we're successful, or whether people wanted to hear what we had to say. Like, none of it really actually matters. It's just about how we can move through and just be true to ourselves without needing it to be received in any way. It's just, you're just being yourself.
Yeah.
You're just putting it out there, and you know, that's, I think, what is it's a nice place to be. And I'm still working on that, I think, as well.
I feel like we're always all working on it, whether we know it or not.
All be, because I mean, you see these people out there just like I am to an extent. It's trying to get the brand out there, trying to, you know, gain followers so that people see my things. And it's like, ultimately, there's so many people I see creators out there all the time just trying to get to the next 1,000 followers and to the next 10,000 followers, and so many likes, and we're sort of conditioned, I think, to actually be seeking the opposite of what we should be seeking, which is constant external validation, when really we should just be happy with putting it out there to whoever will receive it, even if that's one person, even if it's just yourself.
Yeah, the one person. I feel like it's a whole other big expansive thing that we could talk about, I feel, for a very long time. And you know, there's something in, well, I guess it's the paradox. Maybe it's not paradox, I don't know if that's even the word I want to use, but it's like, you know, it can feel like, for me at least, it's like, well, I have to be seeking, there has to be an element somewhere. You know, I participate in the world, in all of these, you know, systems that we're all in. If we're here, in this part of the world, in this particular way, I've got bills to pay. I've got, you know, all the rest of it that I don't even need to say, because we all know. Yeah. So it's like, how do I move through the world with the reality of that, and also knowing that this is definitely a journey for me. You know, it's like, if I say the thing and I feel like it's into what I perceive to be an empty room, what I mean, that could be like, you know, I have like 2 people on my Instagram story see the thing, you know, and you think, oh, this is an empty room. Like, how is this generative? Like, you know, we start thinking about all the things that I've just mentioned, and you go, well, I can't just be in my knowing, because the knowing is not going to pay the bills. You know, like, I feel like it feels, well, it can feel so many things that I could name, but it's like, how do we move through that and with that, and still stay true to our nature?
I think that's probably our biggest challenge as humanity we're in right now, where we do have this, you know, 3D world to live in and all these bills to pay, and it's an expensive world, and we do have to earn a living, but then at the same time, like, moving away from being a creator of your own products, so therefore you're the only one that can bring that income in that point as well now. But then trying to not be too attached, it's like, it is a weird dance. It's a dance,
absolutely.
And I think it comes down to trust again, of it being like, I'm going to trust that the right things will come, the right people will see at the right time, and the right people will see a value in what I'm putting out there, in the same way that I see a value in people's products and I invest in those. And it's not every single product I see, but it's if it means something to me, kind of thing, or service. And I think it's just, there is enough to go around, and I like that. I mean, one of my yoga teacher friends said that to me when I was looking for yoga classes. They might listen to this and hear it and recognize it in themselves, but it's when I was struggling to find teaching as a new yoga teacher, because it's, you know, we live in Brighton, there's lots of wonderful studios and wonderful yoga teachers already. This particular lovely lady said, there's enough to go around, and she is so right, because the opportunities have found their way to me, and they've slowly started to build up. And I think I would, if I meet another yoga teacher and they're in the same position as me, I say the same thing to them. There is enough to go around. You'll find your opportunities and they'll come to you. And I think there is enough in the world to support us all. It's just whether it's in the right hands or not. And it's not necessarily in the right hands in a lot of cases. But that's, again, another tangent. But we just have to trust that I think things will flow.
Yeah.
And it's trying to do that in a way that is with the sort of least attachment to needing validation. I don't know, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
No, I think you do know. I feel like
position as well. But
yeah,
just trying to trust the process as much as possible and enjoy it as well, and find times to stop worrying about things and just actually enjoy, because I spent a lot of this last year actually worrying about money and worrying about how long it might last and whether or not these products will be successful. And I think if I think about all the time that I spent worrying about it, I was missing out on valuable weeks and months to just actually enjoy the process of life as well. But it's definitely easier said than done.
I feel like it's a very, 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 very human experience to be in that energy. Like it doesn't, because it's not the kind of individual, like the way that we relate to whatever we're worrying about, the quantities or the amount of it is kind of irrelevant, because it's the place, isn't it, that we're in when we're in it, and we see it that way with that lens, which we all have the ability to feel. But I feel like, life is relentless. I think actually I said this, there's the episode before this, which is not yet released, but beautiful Lauren, who I spoke to, we said, we were talking about, so many things, but, I really feel that, like, what life wants for us is really relentless in that way, that it is holding of all of these parts that we move through the world with, where we go, I've got no fucking clue, I don't know how, and we forget to feel joy, and we worry, and we forget to be in the fullness of the experience, and we do that a million times over, and I think that that's fine, because life is there for us anyway, although we may many times, and I certainly have not always, it's there's a knowing of that, which is, I guess, something that I've been honing over many years before I was consciously aware of it, being in the dance with the thing, with life, and slowly realizing 1% by 1% that, like, the energy of life is there for me regardless of how I feel. And I might want to feel so many ways that I'm not feeling, and that creates an extra ton of pressure on our humanity, is to want to be somewhere else apart from the place that we're in with the experience that we're in.
That's so true. Sometimes you just need to feel that way.
And I feel
and then
like
you notice the difference when you're looking back, and different emotions and different times. When you're sad, you look back and be like, I was so happy then, and that can happen again. Or, I was so carefree then, or I was so sad back then, and now I'm happy. Like it's about that, just all of it, isn't it? And the contrast, and
the contrast is beautiful. Like it's so of our, like, I feel like I forget this every single day, like how exquisite it is to have the contrast of everything. Like, is so, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a frog or an elephant. I have no idea what it's like to be anything other than human in my consciousness at this time. So it's like the thing that can often feel, so rich in, like, sensation and experience and feeling, is like, it's the most, I mean, I want to say holy, because I feel like it's a very holy thing to be able to feel so much, like, contrast of our aliveness and our human experience. And we're so in it that I mean, you could go your whole life and not feel like that, and I don't think it's for everyone to even have that acknowledgement, necessarily. I don't think it's all, like, it's not always there for everybody in their awareness. I certainly feel like I've to even for a split second in my life felt like, oh my goodness, it's so exquisite to actually feel all of this, even if it's hard or painful, or a bunch of other things that I could name that we decide are bad or not wanted, or that we should move out of. It's like, oh my God, it's like when I start to think about it, it's a bit of a trip. It's like,
it can be.
It's a very sober kind of like it's like the knowing of that is like very of the earth. It's like a very in the mud, earthly, very human, messy thing. But then it's also feels very holy at the same time. It's like, it quite happily blows my mind because I feel like my mind has no place in that. It's
I feel like it's sometimes it's everything and it's nothing at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, and I kind of had this realization lying awake a couple of weeks ago, and I was thinking about good and bad, and it was a bit like how I mentioned earlier about how if I could, put on paper good or bad, and good things that have happened and bad things have happened, if I was to think about the worst thing that's ever happened in my life, it's further down the line led to something that I could call probably one of the greatest things that has happened in my life. And it makes me think, what even is good and bad then in the grand scheme of life?
Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of ancient teachings, it's all about how there is no good and bad, actually. I've read a few different books that lean towards Buddhism that say that kind of thing, and it can feel really, sometimes it can just feel really silly, and you're like, well, of course it's good and bad, and I've had, this is a really bad experience, this is a great experience. But when I was having that realization the other night, it just brought me back to that, and I thought, well, if the bad can then turn into the great, and at the same time a great experience could turn into the worst experience years down the line, we just don't know, then everything is one and the same.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
And then it just sort of made me, I think, see things a bit differently. It's quite
thank you.
It's quite mind-blowing, that bit, but
it is, it's beautiful. And I mean, I don't know that I'm particularly au fait with Buddhist teachings, although I do understand it's a very kind of Buddhist lens, isn't it? I guess it's the like non-duality.
Yeah, non-duality.
Which I feel
which
like...
is also samadhi, which is the final step of yoga, which is to see equally. And it's not about bliss in terms of life is perfect and I love it. It's just everything is what it is. It's just everything is... It's not good, it's not bad. It's just, the worst thing could happen and it's seeing it just as it is. And I think, it's... it can be quite a lot. It can be quite a lot to get my head round on some days, and then on other days I'm like, that's it. That's 100% it. That's just all there is. And other days I'm in my very human ego mind, and that's the opposite of what I want to be thinking. That's just how it goes.
It is, and I guess that's also part of
this journey,
the isness. Yeah, as you described, like the journey is also like forgetting a million times. It's like we kind of probably somewhere in our being like would like it to be less than that many. It's like we hope and we strive for something to feel like more of us, and I guess that's the nature of like when something is distilled down and it goes through the layers of mind, and then you're living the thing, and then that's a different experience, is when it's like in your being. And I feel like that's when also we have a sense of humour about these things a little bit more.
Yeah. It also serious.
Yeah. Sometimes sometimes things feel very, very serious for like an incremental amount of time. And then they feel something else. And I do feel like there's something which is a real gift of the nature of bringing things into the world as one person, that allows you to like really be met with, again, I can't speak for anyone else, but I do know intimately the nature of slowly over time cultivating something, and being met by all of those layers of like all the things that we've just described, where like things are wrong and they're bad and they're not what we want, and like softening that to a degree that allows you to like make the thing malleable, like there's movement in it, and we can look at it and know that it's not everything. You know, it's this thing like if you bring something into the world, it's like there's this thing that I really care about, and it's also, and it feels like everything, and it's also nothing, and that they're both beautiful.
Yeah.
And we can exist knowing that they're both
of those things.
And you know, and you can share something and it can feel like really important, but then you also know that it's like small in the world, but it's big and it's small, and it can be all of those things
at once.
Yeah, it's everything at once. It's like, you know, it's I kind of feel like it's a real blessing to be so close to something, and to be like in closeness with the creative process in that way definitely helps me see and understand my life to be a similar kind of crafting of the thing over time.
That's a nice way to look at it.
I don't always see it like that. Sometimes it's fucking irritating, you know. It's like
it's easier to talk about when you're having a good day.
yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's our nature, isn't it? Is that we lean towards the good, right? Or wanting the good, because the good, we're in a world of, you know, where the good and the bad is, well, it's connected to, I mean, there's so many things I could say about that. Which I think we know, whether we consciously know, we feel it in our system, you know, everything is directed towards good is one way and bad is, because that's connected to our outrage and our despair and all of those things. So it's like and I guess as like I was like the archetypal good girl at school, so it's like there was a lean towards like, yep, hello, wanting like, you know, needing things to be good. And seen as good, needing to be seen as good, needing the thing that you create to be good, validated as good.
Yeah,
to be
how that feels.
Yeah, which doesn't. We'd come back for another podcast on that one. Yeah. But it's like, it's like there's, you know, there's so much. I kind of can't even remember where I started this, but it's like to be in the mess with all of it is something that I feel is a particular gift of like bringing something through into the world, because it kind of is like the journey. Well, it's you can't separate them. It's the journey of you as well through the world, and you get to be intimately connected to this thing and see so much, and it's a real gift. It's definitely where, you know, in my, I think, what on earth am I doing here? It's like, it's definitely what I, you know, I see and recognize in myself and others, and I want to be in service to the energy of that, which is life energy, and it's always, you know, in every moment it's there for us. But it's like when you are cultivating something which is like the thing you want to see in the world that maybe is not already there, well, it's not, that's why you're doing it. It's like, it's to have like support in that, and to have it held. I think we talked about, I can't remember if the mics were on or off before we talked about, maybe we talked about this before we started, but it's like, having that witnessed and held is also a real gift. I think that's why I started the podcast. I'm still not entirely sure. There's a sense somewhere, but it's like that, you know, like it's I feel like it's big. Yeah. I don't know whether maybe, I don't think I can put any more, and I don't want to put any more words to that. I feel like
that is just the nail on the head of what you do and what I'm doing with
what you do,
what I'm doing, and and how we, you know, move through that together and in support, but also separately. But just it's that understanding, isn't it? And it's it's a real honour, and it's so lovely to connect with someone who speaks a similar language, and you know, can kind of feel into the same journey, the same feelings that I'm going through as well, and
it's
to
beautiful.
allow me to share a bit of the story, a bit of why I'm doing what I'm doing in this crazy time. But it's been lovely. So
thank you. Thank you for for bringing yourself here. It's your living room, but for it's really beautiful to be here to express all of this. And maybe was the time maybe to kind of go full circle on this thing, like I would, because I know I've still been kind of aware that there might be your products might be arriving, and did you say we're one day away? It's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, we're launching tomorrow at 6 p.m. and the products are yet to arrive, but they are on their way.
Yeah,
I'll be on quality control duty this evening and tomorrow morning.
And your cats
and the cats, no, they're staying away, well away.
Yeah, as I said that, I was
they're not allowed in the room where the product lives. I've already explained that rule to Matt, my husband. Can't have cat hair on anything. There will not be cat hair on your yogawear.
Sorry,
Bodhi yogawear. Yes, but full quality control mode will be commencing hopefully over the next 24 hours.
24 hours. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So how can bearing in mind, I say this for myself, this will not be released in the next 24 hours. So by the time that this makes it into the world,
who knows what's happened by the time this...
We don't know, do we? Maybe it'll be a few weeks down the line, maybe a month down the line. How can people find your beautiful products, which I have seen through a lens and through my eyes, and felt and seen you wear, and they're beautiful.
Thank you.
How can people find them and you? And is there anything, any of your products or otherwise, of your offerings that you would like to let people know about for the rest of this year or beyond?
Well, I mean, you can find it. The brand is called Bodhi, Bodhi, which means enlightenment in Sanskrit. But my handle is the Bodhi Shala. So you can find the stuff on the bodhishala.com.
We'll link it.
And my Instagram is the Bodhi Shala with little underscores in between each word as well. So if anybody did want to check it out, then check it out. I'd be really grateful just for anyone to look at it, and no pressure to buy anything, just have a look and see what you think. And the rest of this year will just be about feeling my way through any sales that I get, how to post them beautifully and deal with the running of a business. At the same time, I'm working on the menswear and the gender neutral or unisex vibe stuff, which is really exciting to be back in product development, because for the last few months, that's, I've had to leave it. I've done what I can and then leave it to the production gods and everything like that. So it's quite nice to be back into that development stage and looking at the next colours. I have no idea how long this will last. That's another hilarious thing about this whole process, is I don't know how long. It's limited edition, all of it.
Yeah.
Although I have gone from developing like 3 things to there being 6 different products in 2 different colours. So now there's 11 options altogether. So the jumpsuit will only be in black. We're going to do quick maths. But yes, I don't actually know how long it will last. Who knows? It could...
How exciting.
It could last 2 years. It could last 2 weeks. I don't know. At the moment, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it's all to play for. It's all just up to the universe now to do its thing.
Yeah, you've handed it over. It's so
on to the next phase. Phase 2, Bodhi yogawear.
Thank you so much. It's like, well, it's always a really it's always a really lovely thing to hear you speak to what you're creating and have created, and it's a pleasure to be in your company, so thank you so much. And
thank you very much.
I'll press the button now, and then we look for the van outside the window.
I'll look for the van. We'll get straight onto the tracking where it's at.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, it's still rolling.